Each day at Wesley Meadows is a new opportunity to serve older adults and reimagine retirement living. It is the heart of their mission that inspires their team to provide the kind of fun atmosphere and care residents would want for themselves. Experience the warm spirit and faith-based difference of Wesley Meadows. Call 662-429-2070 and schedule your visit today. Hello and welcome to the Real Hernando Podcast, presented to you by Wesley Meadows Retirement Community and SRP Studios. This podcast is created to highlight Hernando, Mississippi, and its community by sharing the stories of its business owners and community leaders. We hope these stories help strengthen the fabric of the city we love so near and dear, the Real Hernando. Please follow us at therealhernando.com for all channels and social media platforms. And I'm your host, Derek. And today I'm speaking with John Hornsby. John Hornsby is the president of Hernando Meals on Wheels. We'll talk about the Meals on Wheels briefly here. Hernando Meals on Wheels provides food and other caring connections for senior adults and those in the Hernando community who are disabled and or unable to consistently provide quality nutrition for themselves. Go to mealsonwheelshernando.com for more information. John, pleasure seeing you here. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for letting me be on the podcast.
You got it. You got it. So as we discussed a little bit in our little pre-interview, I'm going to give the audience a little backstory as how I got to know you.
Okay.
Last year, being 2022, I was asked to be a guest to go to the Rotary Club on the First Regional Library. And I got the name right? First Regional Library?
Right, exactly.
What's funny is I already interviewed the head librarian, so I should know that by heart. But so it just so happened that you were the guest speaker when I was invited to just watch. And I absolutely wanted you on the podcast. It just took me a minute to finally get to you. So leading into the new year and the new season, I wanted you on, and we reached out. We finally made it happen. So I'm grateful for your time.
Thanks.
So we're gonna do two things in this interview. We're going to get to know John, but we're also going to educate the community on what the Hernando Meals on Wheels does, how people can help, highlight sponsors, highlight the volunteers, the providers, and just give as much information as we can about that organization. So let's get started. So you are born in Memphis, correct?
That's right.
What part?
Actually, I grew up in Whitehaven in the southern most part of Memphis. And years ago, my family had a 50-acre farm in what's now known as South Haven. It was basically just out in DeSoto County. Okay. And we had cattle and horses, and I used to come down here all the time.
Whitehaven's changed a bit, hasn't it?
It has. It has. Not the same place.
Right. So was Graceland, did it have easier access back then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could occasionally see him playing football with his friends in the backyard way back in the early 60s, yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Little did anyone know it'd become this massive museum that people around the world go to.
In fact, I worked at Kroger in Whitehaven as a grocery, sack boy or whatever I was called back then. And Elvis's dad, Vernon, would come in at least once or twice a week. And we would all, be fighting over who gets to carry his groceries out because he was a pretty nice tipper.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's really interesting. When I, several years ago, I needed some supplemental income and drove for Uber and Lyft.
Right.
And so often, especially around Elvis week,
sure,
I would be picking up people at hotels from Australia. No joke. Here. For Graceland and Elvis Week. It's wild. It's
right.
Okay. So what was your upbringing like? Did you, were you into sports?
Or? Yeah. I originally, I was playing baseball was my first love, baseball and golf. And actually turned out to be a little better at golf than baseball, and I went off to college, but I tried to have a career as a sports journalist. But that didn't work out as I had hoped. And I got into banking later on. So
Okay, so your college education, you graduated from University of Tennessee, correct?
That's right. I got a bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing.
Okay, and that was out in Knoxville, right?
That's right.
So how was that experience in Knoxville? Were you out there in the dorms and full time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. You're not going to
Right.
commute.
Right.
That's a heck of a commute, isn't it?
Right.
So are you a Vols fan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Real proud of our team, the way we played this football team this year. And, of course, our baseball team did well, and our basketball team's doing pretty good. So we're
cool.
having a real good year in sports.
You know, for someone like myself that's kind of on the fringe of college football,
Yeah.
when you think Tennessee, I automatically think of Peyton Manning, of
Sure.
course. What was that like? Just real quick, following him and in real time, what was that like?
Yeah, well, that was pretty amazing. The thing about Peyton is he was just in control of himself all the time. You know,
Yeah.
He wouldn't get out ahead. I think he was like a thinking man's sports player, even as a freshman in college.
Cerebral, right?
Right, very, very cerebral.
Not so much a runner.
No, very slow, very slow.
I grew up a Pats fan, so Tom Brady was a statue too. You know, these guys were not made for running,
Right.
but they had the brain and arms, right? So,
Right.
Well, that's really cool. So you graduate, I at least read in 1978,
That's right.
and then from there you got into quite the banking career. 42 years.
That's
commercial
right.
banking?
That's right. I worked for 2 or 3 banks in the Memphis area and 2 or 3 banks in DeSoto County as well. So
and just working up the
I started out in retail banking, and then about 10 years into that, I got into commercial lending and construction lending. And the last 20 or so years, I was doing mainly buildings and shopping centers and church financing and things like that. It was mainly commercial real estate.
And very recently you retired, right?
I did about 2 years ago.
So 2021.
Right. It was toward the end of 2020.
Okay.
Right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. All right. Everyone has their COVID moment, right?
Yeah, right.
I had just moved to Olive Branch from Memphis in January of 2020, and I had to refurnish a whole apartment. I probably already mentioned this on this microphone, but gratefully I got all my furniture and beds and everything
Right.
before the world shut down. And then Olive Branch just became COVID home. And then once it started to open back up, I moved to Hernando.
Yeah.
So that's Olive Branch for me. Well, since we are now kind of hitting your time of retirement, this obviously seems to gel into your role as president for Hernando Meals and
Right.
Wheels. So let's segue into that now. And if I read correctly, the Meals on Wheels started in 2019.
It did.
So
Right.
was there some overlap between you getting involved with Hernando Meals and Wheels while still in banking?
A little bit, yes. They had actually started delivering to recipients. I think it started roughly around in June of 2019, pre-COVID, and I was still at the bank, and we were needing to go through all the processes of becoming a 501c3 nonprofit and getting registered with the state of Mississippi and those types of things, and starting a board of directors. And so I sort of, in the beginning, assisted in that area. And then toward the fall, maybe it was around the end of September, we had an election for board members, and that's when I became the president.
Awesome. And then shortly after, that's when you retired?
Well, about a year later. I was doing both for about a year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get right to it in terms of educating. So let's start with just the overall mission.
Sure.
Meals on Wheels has been a moniker that everyone knows. It's been around
Right.
forever. But now we're here to also now just specify Hernando. So let's talk a little bit about Hernando Meals and Wheels and what its mission is and what it offers.
Okay. Well, there had been probably for several years, either through the Community Foundation of North Mississippi and the Interfaith Council and some other nonprofit organizations in Hernando, there had become a need for food delinquencies and people that were still needing food that were not, a part of the everyday community. Mm-hmm. So we were sort of approached as a church at Hernando United Methodist Church about trying to meet some of those food needs. And that's how we got started. Our minister and a lady named Mary Fuchs helped get this started in the beginning. So we were just starting out small with just 2 or 3 families that we were feeding. And it's grown from that into roughly 90 different recipients that we feed every Tuesday and Thursday. So what we do, the mission is to reach out to people that are homebound seniors that either don't drive or are beginning to approach the age where they don't need to cook anymore. We also serve disabled people as well. So we reach out to them and deliver hot food on Tuesday and Thursday every week. And that's grown from 4 to 6 people to, like I said, up to 85 or 90.
Wow. That's
in just 2.5 years.
Imagine what the next 2 years is going to bring.
Right.
That's amazing. So let's talk about your meal providers. You can't deliver food without a meal provider.
Right.
So how does that work, and who are some of your providers?
I have a lot of people that do ask me questions like, well, doesn't the government provide the food for that? No, we really have no government or state assistance in this program. It's just our board of directors are out there trying to raise funds all the time so that we can buy the food. We are actually buying the food. It's hot food. We go and pick it up around 10:30 to 11 every Tuesday and Thursday, and then we're delivering it right then to the recipient. So we're buying the food from the parish. A while back when Miles McGrath owned Junior's Restaurant was the original provider.
Okay.
And then he has recently opened, during the last 2.5, 3 years, he opened the parish. And so now he's supplying the food from the parish.
And very recently, Junior's closed, right? So now It's all at the parish location.
That's right.
His whole menu from both.
That's right. But they're providing, let's say, 70% of the food. The other 30 or so percent comes from the Kroger Deli here in Hernando.
Amazing. That's
so
awesome.
we're sending out 2 people to pick up food every Tuesday and Thursday. One would go to the parish, and another group would go to Kroger, and then we have a hub at the parking lot of our Hernando United Methodist Church, where we come in sort of like a FedEx thing. They'll bring the food in, and then we have 6 or 7 routes that we have volunteers that deliver the food, and we meet in the parking lot, and they each have 8 to 10 or so meals that they're delivering in one route.
And just obviously volunteers, correct?
That's right. They're all volunteers.
A great way to now bridge to the volunteering aspect of this.
I do want to mention, too, that we're taking this to the people's homes. So we do a wellness check as well. We're delivering food. We're making sure that they're okay when we come.
Good point.
After we come, for a while, they're looking for us. They're expecting us, to look for us, and we just check on them to make sure that they're okay. We have had a couple of situations where we found people on the floor, which has been tough. But we're trained to call 911 and get help to them immediately.
That's something I never thought of.
Yes.
These people are grateful for the food coming in, but they're probably grateful for the company.
They are.
Right?
They're really, really grateful for that.
So that's helping their mental health as well.
Right. So they're in the latter stages, of their lives, most of them, and they just love for us to come by and talk to them. We also serve two other places besides going to personal residence. These are all personal residences.
So far, that's what
So far. We also go to a place called Hill Manor, which is about a 48 to 52 unit place on Hill Street here in Hernando that houses elderly and disabled people, and we serve in there.
Okay.
We serve 28 to 30 people in there every week. And we also go to another facility called Coleman Crawford Estates, and we have about 8 to 10 people that we serve there. They're almost right next to each other. They're very close in the same vicinity. So the volunteers we have, that's something that's built up as we've been, out in the community talking to people. We probably have 60, roughly 60 people that come and volunteer. They're not all Hernando people. We have people that come from Olive Branch. We have people that that live almost in Walls, Mississippi, just different places that come to volunteer. And we send out a mass email at the beginning of every month and say, when would you like to deliver this month? And so people will just pick maybe 2 or 3 days. You're not signing a contract where you're committed to do the first Tuesday of every month. You're just
getting a newsletter.
You're getting a newsletter, and we're starting over every month.
Do you need to be a member to get newsletter?
No, we could. If
you just go to the website and sign up.
That's right.
And we'll get more into that too.
Sure.
Here in a minute, but that's really good to know. And if you get the schedule, but you don't send a time in, but yet you still just show up, I'm guessing you're still willing to take that person's help, right? If someone just pops in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We have a bank or two that wants to do volunteering. We've had actually Wesley Meadows has reached out to us that wanted to have some of their residents go with us, or either they'll take their van and deliver food. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of people that in the summer months we have moms that want to teach community service to their children, and we'll have moms come in the summer a lot of times with a son or a daughter and deliver for us.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you need a special occasion to bring children or minors, or can you do that anytime?
You can do that at any time, and we don't allow minors to drive. I mean, the parent has to be responsible for them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want some 17-year-old rolling up in their beat-up Camry.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Because, that's a great idea.
Because the volunteers actually, a lot of them develop a relationship with the recipients.
Right.
So they're looking for that same person just about every week. So,
okay.
See what I'm saying? So if a 16-year-old showed up, that would be like,
alarming.
Okay. Yes, right.
Well, that's awesome, and definitely what an opportunity. Because I'm thinking of myself as well.
Sure.
Getting involved with this would be great. I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
That perfect, impressionable age, and get her out in the community and as another way to help. That's awesome. How do you become a champion? I saw on your website there's a level there where you can be a champion.
Right.
Can you extrapolate on that?
Sure. Well, we're always looking out for ways to reach people in the community, and actually you can be a champion by donating or committing to donate $50 a month, which would serve one senior that whole meal, that 1 month of meals for $50. Now, that's a little bit dated. We've had price increases on our food over the last 15 months or so.
I can't imagine why.
Right, exactly. So we've but we didn't go up on that, so it's still $50.
Okay, yeah.
And you can sign up on our website. You can click on there as well and become a member. And if for $25 you can become a member, and we'll give you a T-shirt, a free T-shirt that has Hernando Meals on Wheels on it. We also have some tumblers that are available. We've just kind of reached out over Oh, I would say since the beginning of 2021, we have tried hard to be out in the community. We have a booth from time to time at the farmers market on Saturdays.
Okay.
We have had several fundraisers that I could go over if you'd like, that we would love to have people partner with us on that to support the fundraisers.
That was on my list. Let's go.
Okay.
So I had it as events, but fundraisers, that's a good thing to talk about.
You can look at all this on our website if you want. We also have a Facebook page. But we're having, last year on April 1st, we had our first annual golf tournament. And so we're having the second annual golf tournament on April 21st this year.
Excellent.
It'll be at Hernando Country Club. We're looking for hole sponsors. We're looking for golf teams. We're looking for food sponsors, just all kinds of ways you could help.
If someone's interested in helping specifically for that event, how do they reach out to you? How do they get involved?
They can send me an email, and actually it would probably be better just to send it to my personal email, which I could give you.
We'll have it in the description.
How about that?
Offline, I'll get it from you, and then you can, the listener or viewer, scroll down to the description. You'll have all the links. Your Facebook, I'll put your email, Meals on Wheels website, all of them. So
it does take a lot to do a golf tournament. Also, another fundraiser that we've had for a couple of years is a classic car show. Last year we had about roughly 60 to 65 cars. It's on the square here in Hernando. They park out there, and
is that after the farmers market clears out?
Well, it's on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday from farmers is on Saturday. Farmers market's on Saturday, and we're on Sunday.
Yeah, anytime I go by the square in the summer, there's Sunday there's some old cars, which is really cool.
Yeah, so we have people that come in. We've had people come from Oxford, Batesville, Arkansas, just all several different car clubs that would come. And usually it's $25 to $50 to park your car. So that's how we're making funds there. We also have people that we had the group Staying Alive sing for us last year at the car show.
I can't imagine what they play.
Yeah, right. So they're playing 60s music mainly. Right. So it kind of fits in with the whole Meals on Wheels thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do that. And then in November, we had a pancake breakfast, which was sponsored partially by the Hernando Rotary Club and also Longview Point Baptist Church, which is where it was held there at the corner of Byhalia and McInvale. And we had a real good fundraiser there on a Saturday morning back. It's roughly around the 4th of November, something like that.
Is that something that's going to happen again?
And we're going to have that again this year.
Awesome. So we for this year so far, you got what on the April 21st again?
Right. The golf tournament.
Golf tournament. And then
the car show is going to be roughly May 21st.
Okay.
We actually haven't set a date for the pancake breakfast, but it'll probably be in October.
Okay, more fall.
Right.
Yeah, pancakes are much better in the fall, aren't they?
Right. So, one thing about Meals on Wheels, we don't have a storage facility. We're not storing food or anything. A lot of people think of us as maybe you're a food bank. The Interfaith Council here in Hernando does have a food bank on McInvale at First Presbyterian Church. But we don't have a place where we can store food. We'd love for you to give us food, but we don't have any place to store it. So that's why we're just buying the food.
So I would gather bigger cities that have Meals on Wheels would have that. That's right. So Hernando's just a little smaller operation.
That's right.
But hey, you never know. Let's grow to that.
Let's
continue to raise these funds. Like you said, this is only 2.5 years old.
That's right.
I mean, there's so much room for growth. That'd be great. And they're definitely building some new facilities around here, right?
That's right.
You would need refrigeration, right?
I would.
Yeah, and maybe even a freezer section?
Sure.
Yeah. So, hey, anyone out there listening, if you have a place. Maybe if it's just one of those little coolers that you put in the garage, better than nothing.
We have had we have been so warmly welcomed in Hernando, so we are really appreciative of the people that support Meals on Wheels. We have 4 or 5 churches that do this, that send us money from time to time. We have several other businesses and professional people that send us money. And actually just, even our recipients try to give us money from time to time. It is free. I do need to mention everything is free and everything is volunteer. Nobody's taking a salary of any kind.
Awesome. And so it doesn't cost anything to be a volunteer.
Right.
But you do have the to be a champion, you have incentives for heavier donations. Let's touch the membership again. So what is the cost and how do we
So you can be a member for $25.
Is that a month?
No, that's an annual.
Whew, well, that's easy.
Yeah. And that's on the website as well. And we really would love to get some more members so that we could reach out and see if they would like to volunteer as well. Yeah. So we want more than just them to be a member. We'd love for them to be a little active in the organization if we could.
So to be a member right out of the gate, your $25 a year is helping.
Right.
But now that it brings you inside a little more, right? You're going to get those newsletters.
That's right.
And get more involved that way. Much like the Chamber of Commerce. Like you can,
exactly.
You can do your annual fee, but it's what you do with it.
That's right.
Show up to the luncheons, show up to the ribbon cuttings, support that way. So the Hernando Meals on Wheels is the same thing. Become a member, support that way, and then just show up.
Come and volunteer once, and we'll take you out with an experienced driver, and you can learn what we're doing.
It must be very fulfilling.
It is.
To give people smiles like that.
It is.
Because I'm sure they enjoy the company.
They do.
Probably more than the food.
Probably,
right?
Probably so. Probably so.
Well, is there anything we're missing here? Did you want to talk about sponsors? I had that towards the end here. I think you've already kind of touched a lot of that as far as how you're trying to raise funds and finding sponsors. But are there any other sponsors that we have not highlighted that you might want to talk about?
One thing is that we have on the website. You can call. We have a phone. You can call the number, or you can do it online. We have a form if you would like to receive food. If you're currently not receiving food, and you would like to, or you know somebody that needs to or wants to, you can go on the website. It's basically just a 2-page form, and this is not about income. It's just about need. If you need the food, then we will sign you up. The only thing we really need is your address and your emergency contact number. And there's not a whole lot more on the form other than that. Mm-hmm. So we in times past have had a waiting list. I'm not sure if we have one right now, but it's very small. So if you were to sign up today, you could probably get started in a few weeks or so.
Outstanding. Oh,
it's awesome. It fluctuates quite a bit. We have recipients that sometimes we've been feeding for a while, and their child or something will say, "We need to move. Want you to move in with us or something." So,
and obviously, the message to the recipients of the food is, this is also a safe situation.
Oh yeah.
Anyone that's volunteering for this, I think you can trust that you're going to be getting the best people.
Exactly.
And it's all safe and on the up and up. So
that's right.
Do you go introduce yourself to a new recipient or before getting started?
Yeah, we have a couple of phone conversations with them about to give them what our routine is and when they should expect the food and that type of thing. And we check with the emergency contact person. So
yeah, I would say more. Anyone hearing that information isn't the one that needs the help, but they know someone that does. So please, if you can, push that to the person or people that could use it.
Right.
There's a good chance that the people that need the food don't even know what a podcast is, right?
Exactly.
So if you're like 35 and your grandmother could use this,
right,
let's hook it up.
Exactly.
Because that's really more the demographic of people listening.
Right. Sure.
So and then again, all this information will be available on our social media posts and everything. So if you're watching John talk about how to receive food on our Facebook page, then share that post and then spread it out that way too. So, well, look, John, it's been a pleasure. I want to make sure we hit all points. Is there anything that you would like to just say in general?
I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Mary, if you see me looking to my left, she's off camera. Mary was here too. We had an audience member. That's a first, in this new studio. She has to hide behind all the tripods, though. So thank you for being here too, John. Thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome.
To come up here to the studio and give us a little bit of your story and background, but really most importantly, the Hernando Meals on Wheels and what we can do with that. So it's a noble effort.
Well, we think it's an important part of the city. I think the city embraces us, and maybe I should say that they've been very generous to us as well. The city of Hernando and the mayor and Christy have delivered food for us for quite several months. So we appreciate that. We really feel like there was a need there that had gone unnoticed, and it just shows that we have a love of seniors in our community that maybe others don't. And
no surprise, Hernando backed it up.
Exactly.
That's why we're here right now talking about this, because this community is just special, and it's a joy for me to get a front row seat to stories and people like yourself that are willing to join me on this podcast. So again, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, John, we're not quite saying bye yet.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk to the audience. We're going to challenge them. We want them to share. Sharing is caring, y'all, right? And it rhymes, so it's fun, right? So here's some ways on how you can help support the podcast, which by proxy supports all of the guests, including John Hornsby here. So go to therealhernando.com and go find an episode. Maybe as you're watching and listening to this, grab John's episode. And again, email it to a family member that might be needing this. That helps John's story and message, also helps the podcast. So we all grow together. And then on the website, click on our YouTube link and go subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't watch your podcasts or content, if you could just go subscribe, it's free, costs you nothing to do, and in a few minutes you've helped grow our channel. You can follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We're in all those platforms. So whatever audio platform you choose, again, you can share links, throw them on your Facebook page. And then speaking of social media, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. All of the handles are at The Real Hernando. And much like I mentioned earlier, if you see a clip that we posted and you like that information, you think it could be helpful to people, go ahead and share it. Throw it in your stories, throw it in your feed. That really helps. The social media aspect is people sharing posts. That's the strongest way to get some reach. So, and that's all I got. Again, thank you, John, for being here.
You're welcome.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.